What is up, guys? Hello everyone, bringing you the first update to a deck in my channel, and the first one I'm going to do is my absolute favorites, or at least one of my favorites, and it's Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, two things to know before we start its deck profile. First off, is because I have a schedule change, and because of things haven't came in the way that I thought they will, then I'm actually at home before the 2 weeks that I'm supposed to go to whatever, and because of that I actually ordered new cards and they're not supposed to be here until next time maybe. So because of that, because I am at home and I couldn't wait to show you guys, I decided to show you all guys that anyway, even though I do think, and even though I'm missing, sorry, 2 cards in the main deck and 1 in the extra deck. Now, second thing is a lot of people actually ask me, well, a couple of people because I don't have a lot of my channel, but some people ask me the question down below, kind of in a way, why I don't have Chaos Max variant. And the reason behind that, bleh, that came out weird, is because I don't have any Manjus or Advanced Ritual Arts. A friend of mine does, and if you really want to, and he will agree, I'll ask him to do an update for you. But yeah, it's basically, I might actually tell you in a video some things to change if you really want to for Chaos Max. Second thing is that I'm not going to be that forgiving in a lot of updates about old cards that you already know by being in my channel, or should be know by now what they do. So I will go for their basic effects, but I wouldn't start to explain them like 1 minute at least of a set of cards like I usually do. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile. So starting off with a monster count, you want to run the vanilla monster deck, which is Blue Eyes White Dragon, your most important one in my opinion. And one thing to acknowledge, I changed this art to a secret gold rare. Even though I don't like gold rares or secret gold rares that much, I believe this one is quite beautiful, so I decided to change that. But if you guys think it's kind of awful, I will change back again to the ultra rare variant. Next, I run triple of the second copy, you could say, of Blue Eyes, because it's kind of a Blue Eyes. And I run triple copies of Alternate White Dragon because this card is amazing, like just amazing. It has the ability to special summon itself, and it's basically popping a monster, but it cannot attack, so pretty much standard. Then 2 copies of Dragon Spirit of White, because this card is actually really important, even against True Dracos. 1, it has the ability to banish a card with its normal special summon. 2, it has the ability to get itself out, tribute himself to special summon a Blue Eyes from your hand if your opponent control a monster. Second effects are basically very obvious, you should know them by now. Then, for our supporting engine for Blue Eyes, I run triple copies of Sage with Eyes Blue. I do have 1 secret rare and the 2 ultra rares, if you guys noticed. And because one of them I opened, the other 2 I still haven't got, like, you know, the secret rare variant. Anyway, Sage, what his effect does is basically searching when he's normal summoned for a light level 1 tuner, and it's not once per turn, the normal summon, so keep that in mind. As well as has the ability to send himself an effect monster from the hand and an effect monster to the graveyard to special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck. Then 1 Maiden, because it's Maiden, and I actually decided to run Maiden because she became a little bit more important now in this build. Now, if you don't like her, you can take it out. I don't going to explain her because you all should know what she does by now. 1 copy is Master, because Master is basically a recycler, and he has the same effect of Sage in the graveyard. The difference it is, you need to shuffle in the deck and send a monster to the effect monster to the graveyard to special summon the Blue Eyes from the graveyard. So his effects are basically kind of like Sage, but not exactly. Then to our kind of eggs, I run triple of Ancients and the 1 Legends. 1 Legends is pretty simple, send it to the graveyard, search for a Blue Eyes monster, a Blue Eyes White Dragon to your hand. Ancients, on the other hand, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes monster from the deck during the end phase, and it's once per turn for each copy. So if you have 3 in the graveyard, you can summon 3. Now, one thing to note if it have the ability to banish itself from the graveyard to add a Blue Eyes card from your graveyard to your hand. It's one of those things that I'm actually going to note because a lot of people actually forget about this. If you banish it to the graveyard from the turn it was in the graveyard, you banish it the same turn, you send it to the graveyard, his effect will not trigger. You need to have this card in the graveyard to activate its end phase ability. So if you send it to the graveyard and you have no reason to banish it, don't banish it and recycle your stuff. So it could be really, really bad and inconvenient if you do that during the end phase and your opponent just say to you no because you cannot do that. So keep that in mind. Next for our monsters, the monsters I actually use to help the deck actually run a little more faster and have a little bit more layer of protection, is the card I'm unboxing to, yeah, Galaxy Soldier. Now some people don't like this card that much because it's basically spelled Dragon, Cyber Dragon Infinity if you have this, but that's the reason why I run it, because A, it's helped me send cards from my hand to the graveyard, cloggy cards, and it gives me Cyber Dragon Infinity in the process, so I really like this card. I do believe it's really helped the deck and give it a little bit layer of protection, like I said. Then for hand traps, which are the last aspect of the deck, I run the searchable hand trap, which is 2 effect valor, and 1 maxi because it's maxi, it's the best card in the deck. And that's it for monsters. I believe it's a little bit more than we have last time, and I think it's 24 or 23. Don't 100% sure, remember. Then for spells, the most important spell in the deck in my opinion, and your combo starter, is basically Melody of Awakening Dragons. Send a card, search for 2 dragons with 3,000 more attack or 2,500 defense or less. Doesn't have to be the, say, like different names of dragons, and it could be also used more than once per turn. Really awesome card. Triple Trade-In, because we have tons of level 8 monsters. Triple Card of Consonance, even though we have just 4 targets in the main deck, Sage still can't define another target because you can normal summon him and get your stone. So that's pretty awesome. Lastly, for, you could say, dumping spells or whatever, you want to run double Dragon Shrine, because Dragon Shrine pretty much sending your dragons to the graveyard as it said. So you can send up to 2 dragons to the graveyard, which really helps design your deck and just fill your graveyard with the dragons you need. And that's it for that. And then for your revival spells, first off, for the best revival spell in the deck, Return of the Dragon Lords. This card is freaking amazing. Not once per turn, revival of a 7 or 8 dragons, so it can even be Crystal Wing. Yeah, I also run Crystal Wing in the X deck. And it's also have the ability to basically banish itself and negate, kind of like negate destruction of a monster by battle, by card effect, which is a dragon type. So that's really awesome. And yeah, it's really good card. Then you want to run double copies of Feral Cry, because it's not as important as Return of Dragon Lords, but it can still revive your normal type dragon monsters. It's kind of a trap in kind of way if you set it, so it's really awesome. And then 1 Soul Charge, because if you activate it most of the time you win. So that's pretty much it. And then to round off our spells, it can be any spell you wish, but I like this spell because it's really help. I run 1 copy of Mausoleum of White because Mausoleum of White have 2 awesome effects. One of them is basically during your main phase you can normal summon 1 level 1 Light Tuner monster in addition to your normal summoning set. You can only gain this effect once per turn, blah blah blah. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, send 1 normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the targeted monster get attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard time 100 until the end of the turn. Sorry. I actually forgot. The third effect doesn't really think, like, it isn't relevant, but you can banish this card from the graveyard, add 1 burst stream of distraction from your deck to your hand. Actually, I didn't know that effect, but it's actually not that relevant like the third effect. But what's relevant about this effect, you can target your own maiden and basically send a Blue Eyes from your deck to the graveyard and special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck. So that's pretty Blue Eyes White Dragon. So that's pretty awesome. This card really helps, and giving me the ability to double summon kind of, it's really awesome. You don't really need it that much, but sometimes it really helps. And that's it for main deck. Now we'll move on to side deck. So first off, 2 copies of Gamma because it's the best kaiju. 2 copies of Diddy Crow because it's still really relevant, even though soon it won't be relevant. Although Cyrus might make this relevant again, but we'll see. So 2 copies of DD Crow because it's banished cards. The third Silver Cry because it could come up. The 1 Beacon of White because, again, a card that could come up and help you push for a game. The 1 Raigeki. And the Double Dark Hole for word wipes. Really simple on that. Sorry. The double Twin Twister for clearing back row. The double Forbidden Lance. And the double Forbidden Chalice. To help you basically protect your dragons and just increasing attack if you need to. And basically negate monster effects and increase your Blue Eyes White Dragon's attack by 400. Which can become really handy. And that's it for side. I don't like traps in Blue Eyes, and I decided that I really like even the side don't beat a trap, because Blue Eyes don't really need traps. So that's why I don't run anything like even a Royal Decree. So yeah, I just going more spell heavy in this deck. So for extra deck, I run 1 copy of Twin Burst because it's a fusion for Blue Eyes, really easy to pull off, can attack twice, can banish cards that it doesn't destroy by battle, and it's basically cannot be destroyed by battle. Really, really simple and really awesome. 2 copies of Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon because it's the best one. It's the best synchro in your extra deck, and it's actually... His first effect become less relevant because we're not in the Pendulum era anymore, but his second effect, which basically negate an effect in the graveyard, still really, really good. And his third effect, which is basically send himself to the graveyard, special summon a Dragon Synchro light monster from your extra deck in the defense position and destroy it during the end phase, still pretty relevant because it's really awesome. And most of the time you're going to summon this, with this effect you want to summon Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. Now Azure Eyes Silver Dragon is awesome because it's have two awesome effects. The first effect is for 2 turns, it can make your opponent dragon type monsters kind of a Magic Specters. So you want to summon Dragon Spirit of White most of the time, sit on it until your end turn, then in your start of your opponent turn, summon Dragon Spirit of White, Azure Silver Dragon by Dragon Spirit of White effect. His second effect is that once per turn during your main standby phase, you can special summon a normal monster from your graveyard, so that's really, really awesome. And that's basically it for your main synchros. For your other last 2 free synchros, the first off, you want to run to your level 7s, 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, and 1 Michael, because those 2 guys, really, really good. You can choose whatever you want, but on top of them, you want to run 1 Crystal Wing, because Crystal Wing can be used with them. So you can basically use Mausoleum of Light, special summon 1 of these, and then special summon another Light Tuner level 1, and go to your Crystal Wing. And it can also be revived when you return to Dragon Lord, so that's pretty stupid. I was considering running this card in here in the extra deck up to 2, but I realized that double Crystal Wing doesn't really do anything to this deck, even though I am considering that. But we'll see about that in the future, and that's pretty much it. And then for Xyz, because you like Xyz of rank 8s, this is basically your package for rank 8s. So basically your Galaxy Engine, banish a card banish 3 cards from your opponent deck, monster, sorry. When it's summoned, then you have 3 dragon type monster with different name to send from your deck to the graveyard. This guy is basically just a quarter step and have the ability to kind of like pop a face-up card. This guy just really good dealing with Xyz monster, and this guy just able to snatch steal stuff. So that's pretty awesome. And then for last Xyz, 1 Cyber Dragon Nova, which is the card I'm unfortunately proxying because I haven't got it in the time that Infinity was imprinted in Breakers of Shadow, because I felt like Infinity in Breakers of Shadow is too much expensive. I always, like, half a year later it got reprinted in the Mega Tin, so that's why I thought like maybe a little bit more than a half year, but I felt like this isn't necessary, and I actually even pulled off 2 of these from my 2 Mega Tins, so that's pretty much, I don't really need this card, like, you know, like, get it early sometimes. Like, sometimes it's really, really important to remember to hold your horses, because some cards you can get later and save some money, so keep that in mind. if you're playing this game and you sometimes like losing your horses because of this. So yeah, you need to be sometimes impatient in this game to get your best reprints. That's why I don't really triggered about Code of the Duelist. I know it's kind of like all out of the blue right there, but that's why Code of the Duelist is not a set that make it that so much for me, because I know that that card we're going to get reprinted, Witchfire Dragon. As same as I knew for Cyber Dragon Infinity, and I still continue babbling about, which I shouldn't have, but anyway, one Cyber Dragon Nova, Cyber Dragon Infinity, because Galaxy Eyes, and I will, Galaxy Soldier, sorry, and I will get Cyber Dragon Nova at the very least in October for the the Legendary Dragon decks that we're supposed to get there. And then for our last XC is one Sylvan Princess Sprout, because it's a rank 1, we could use it with Mausoleum of White, we can abuse it with Mausoleum of White, and it's a free meal if you're getting a monster, or a free spell free spell from our deck. So that's pretty awesome, and that does it to this pretty much deck profile. It's been a little bit more long than it supposed to be. It's supposed to had been like 12 to maybe 13 minutes, but I kind of like extended by explaining some stuff and babbling. I'm sorry for that, but hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe, it's really help my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably it's going to be an update to my Raid Raptor deck by the suggestion you left down below. And I still have really need to work on that, because there's some cards I don't know what to do with them, and because Raid Raptor have a little bit of a hard time of lock in their archetype lock, they need their own particular link monster. So until then, the strategy pretty much you'll see what it is in my deck profile. So hope you guys enjoy, have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in my next deck profile. See you.